Trump reiterating today he will testify, but the gag order needs to be thrown out. Watch.
The gag order has to come off. People are allowed to speak about me, and I have a gag order, just to show you how much more unfair it is. They've taken away my constitutional rights to speak, and that includes speaking to you. I have a lot to say to you, and I'm not allowed to say it. Everyone else can say whatever they want about me. They can say anything they want. They can continue to make up lies and everything else.
Joining me now, Fox News contributor and George Washington University law professor, Jonathan Turley. So, Professor, help me out on the gag order. There's going to be a ruling on Tuesday. He's gagged, but he continues to speak. How do you see this playing out?
Well, you know, Pete, this is the troubling aspect of that order. These gag orders have become very commonplace for courts, but this is anything but your most common case. I mean, you've got a defendant who's running for president in an election that is going to turn on, for many voters, the weaponization of the legal system. This case is the best example of a politicalization of that system. This is a partisan prosecution, in my view. The case is legally absurd, and it's being brought for the political purposes and the timing by, in my view, the district attorney's office. Now, that doesn't mean that there can be no gag order, but Trump has a point here with regard to Michael Cohen. You know, this is also another uncommon aspect of the case. You have a witness who's essentially campaigning against Trump, not just talking about this case, but going on the air and campaigning against him as president, calling for people to vote against him. And you're telling a candidate that he cannot respond. In the very least, the judge could make exceptions with regard to witnesses who are now actively campaigning against a candidate for the presidency.
You think so? Nothing ordinary about any of this. You mentioned witnesses, Professor. The judge also decided that Alvin Bragg's team doesn't have to give advance notice of the witnesses who will appear to testify against President Trump. So apparently his legal team will not even be allowed to know. Right now they're giving them a single name, and it will come out on Sunday night. Can that be right? How does a defendant not have the ability to know who the witnesses are?
Well, judges often let prosecutors, in my view, hold the names back to the very last minute. I'm a criminal defense attorney, and it drives me crazy. But I've not seen anything like this, because what the prosecutor said was, because we think he's violating the gag order, we're not going to give him other names. Well, that's not one of the sanctions for violating the gag order. You can seek $1,000 a violation. You can even seek jail time. But to endanger a fair trial and due process is not on that menu. And in my view, this is a case where the judge could have said, now, come on, we're going to deal with that contempt, and I just might rule against the defendant. But if these witnesses may be called in the next 24 hours, you need to give those names over to the defense. Instead, the judge sort of shrugged and then said, I'm not going to delay this trial. We're starting on Monday. It's moments like that that cause me some concern. The judge has a good reputation with some, but on moments like that, I'm concerned that he could do more to guarantee the fairness of this trial.
You think? The Trump team doesn't get to know what the charges are specifically, many of which are past the statute of limitations. Now, who the witnesses are, and he can't talk. By the way, the president said, he reiterated today that he plans to testify. Real quick, do you think he will, and is that a good idea?
Most defense attorneys would crawl into a fetal position to have their clients testify in a case like this. But I wouldn't put it past Donald Trump. He tends to rush in. But also, I think that he wants to make his case directly to the jury. It'll depend on Monday and what the judge excludes from the prosecutors for cross-examination.
Interesting. We'll be watching. Professor, thank you for your breakdown.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.